It might surprise people to know that I'm not a super big Jujutsu Kaisen fan. Like, I recognize it as a great series and I know a lot of people love it, but for some reason I never really felt super drawn to it. I watched about half of the first season and sort of fell off when my motivation for watching it evaporated, but that doesn't mean I haven't at least tried to keep up with it. I know the characters well enough, and my favorite characters probably have to be Yuji and Sakuna. I like one more than the other, and I'll let you debate on who that might be. Don't ask if I like Gojo. The answer to that is, throughout heaven and earth, I alone am the fraudulent one. But one thing I do recall thinking as I watched through the series was how similar to other shonen anime it was, most particularly Naruto. And so here we are. This idea sort of spawned from that acknowledgement. Yuji Itadori is best described as a starry-eyed bestest boy with insane hidden potential, possessed by basically his world's version of Satan himself. And wouldn't you know it, Naruto can be described that same way. So why don't we switch up their demons for a little while? At least that's the thought process that brought us here. So I hope you'll hang around with me and view a world where Naruto is probably going to be the best or only Jujutsu Sorcerer in the world. Welcome to the Amagi. Before we begin, only 25% of our viewers are subscribed, so if you're a fan of the video, please like and double check if you are subscribed. And with that out of the way, let's get into the video. The job of being a Hokage is a strange one filled with duty, not only to your own village, but to the world. But what do you do when faced with the issues of another world? Normally you would just ignore it, right? You can't carry the weight of every world on your shoulders. Who could carry such a burden? But what if you were asked to do something simple? Something that isn't super foreign to you, something you have experience in. And what if doing so helps another world out? Would you still feel like you have to do it? Disregard being Hokage for a moment and just imagine that something happened. Someone needed help and you could easily help them. Would you not want to try? Well, Minato Namikaze and Kushina Uzumaki were in this predicament. Sitting at home, holding their newly born baby, Naruto, they were visited by a stranger in all black. At first, they mistook him for Kakashi, but he could not have been any more different. The way he carried himself, it was just so odd. He said that he was from a parallel world to theirs, a world where things were very different. He said he was an emissary on a mission from a group of sorcerers in his world, what Kakashi assumed was their world's equivalent to shinobi. This man said that due to the sudden awakening of a new and unique jujutsu technique, something that felt to Minato like a more mystical side of chakra, something not too unlike what many of the cults in their world followed. According to this blindfolded man, he said that this new technique had allowed them to discover parallel worlds to their own by the bending and warping of space-time. He said that through their extensive research, they had determined that among the many clans that lived in this world, the ones they had taken an interest in were the Uzumaki clan due to their powerful sealing techniques. This was where the man's demeanor seemed to change. He seemed displeased with what he was about to say. Was it disappointing that he would not get to deal with the issue himself? Disappointment on trying to push something so dangerous on others? Or was it a mixture of these things? The answer was unclear, but whatever it was, the man continued to explain it to them. He said that through the Uzumaki clan's continual usage of sealing techniques, especially in sealing creatures of immense size and capability, that they had proven themselves to be the perfect vessels for just such a being as the one they had in mind. The issue was that they had discovered that the Uzumaki clan were destroyed, and because of this, they knew that their only chance was to ask Kushina, the only Uzumaki to their knowledge that was left. Would you be willing to seal something dangerous to our world away? He asked. Kushina looked to Minato and then back. I wish that I could, but I already have our world's Ninetales inside of me. Trying to add another dangerous being might actually backfire and cause both to escape, she said. Gojo, thinking for a moment, seemed like he had another idea, but he didn't want to mention it. It was too much to ask. That was until Kushina mentioned it herself. Naruto, she said. Naruto is of the Uzumaki bloodline. His sealing powers should be just as potent as mine, perhaps more so due to his father's natural skill. The man raised a hand. No, we couldn't ask you to do that. The being we wish to seal away is a warlord in his own right, a demon of such power that during his time he was unstoppable. I already dislike dumping him on your world, but to dump him upon an infant just seems too much for me. Frankly, if we can avoid even having him in this world at all, Minato said. Kushina nodded. I feel as though if we can help, we should. The Uzumaki are considered the perfect Jinchuriki, and I highly doubt that this being is in any way more dangerous than a tailed beast. You might be surprised, the man said. I won't force it upon you. I came to ask for the purpose of getting permission for my group. If you deny, we'll respect your decision. I'm sure we can find another arrangement besides dumping him off on you. Minato looked to Kushina questioningly. Kushina spoke. I can't explain it, but I'm getting the feeling that we need to do this, she said. Even if it seems bad, even if it seems dangerous, their world seems to need help. And if we can handle it, then I believe we've got a responsibility to do our best. But how do you think that this will affect Naruto? Minato asked. Kushina wasn't sure. Looking at the man, he spoke. The being is already sealed within 20 cursed objects. They're already overflowing with his power and seem to be drawing negative creatures and cursed spirits toward them. If sealed into a person, any number of things might happen. He might gain incredible power with little to no cost. He may draw beings made of negative energy toward him, or he might end up being possessed by the being themselves. It's also possible that absolutely nothing happens. We've investigated your world and see little to no cursed spirits wandering around, insinuating that your world functions differently from ours. We cannot be certain how this would work. All we know is that of all the people able to seal these objects away, you are the most likely to succeed. What will you do? Despite their better judgment telling them no, something was drawing them both to agree. And so, without further ado, the mysterious man presented them with the 20 objects. What are these? Kushina asked. The man smiled. They're, severed human fingers. That's disturbing, Minato said. Well, the guy wasn't really the most sane in the membrane, if you know what I mean. And so the ritual began. As Minato examined each object individually, he didn't necessarily sense anything from them that they wouldn't be able to handle. Though it was also true that he did not have the ability to properly sense cursed energy. And so the man stood back and watched through his blindfold as they sealed the fingers into the infant. It left behind a strange tattoo of sorts on the infant's belly that would eventually fade over time. Despite everything, Gojo was certain to stay nearby, just in case Sukuna woke up and chose violence. What he could do in the body of a week-old child was a question indeed, but so far, it seemed there was no immediate danger. Perhaps the old guys at HQ were right. This world's usage of various jutsu besides just curse-related techniques had made them capable of great feats. But in some way, Gojo lamented that he might never get the chance to face off against Sukuna on his own. But it didn't matter too much. All that mattered was that the world was safe. Oh, who is he kidding? He'd kill everyone he knows and then crap on their graves just to get a shot at the most legendary sorcerer in history. Finally settle that score. Who was the strongest sorcerer of all time? Sukuna or Gojo himself? But it seemed that none of that was going to be possible. Well, if you think you've got it handled, I guess I'll be out. This is probably the last you'll hear from me, so if you have any questions, let me know now. I only have one question, Minato asked. If this guy is as bad as you say, and manages to escape my son's grasp, how are we supposed to defeat him? Gojo smiled. Well, for one, killing him is more plausible. But if you mean searching for an easy way to kill him, I suppose hitting him with more negative energy than he can handle would work. Same thing for positive energy. Just hit him with spiritual energy until he stops moving. That's the best way. Not certain if your world's rules overlap with ours or not, but that chakra stuff you use seems like energy, so try that until he dies. Any more questions? Kushina and Minato shrugged. Then I'm gone. Waving a hand, Gojo left, not to be seen again. Years passed. Naruto grew and there was absolutely no problem with the seal. Naruto never seemed to notice any adverse effects from being the vessel of Sukuna. It seemed that the Jujutsu headquarters' higher-ups had been correct in their assumption that because the world was different, the rules of one universe would not apply to another. And because Jujutsu was not present in the world they found themselves in, Sukuna would have no real power. Naruto's childhood was fairly normal. In fact, knowledge of what Naruto was didn't even feel like pertinent information to share. And so Naruto either was never told or likely had simply forgotten. If he was told, it could have been when he was young in the throes of ADHD and or simply he didn't understand what any of it meant. But all the same, Naruto's life was fairly normal. He didn't have to worry about anything. All that he had to deal with was making it as a shinobi and being the son of the 4th Hokage. Naruto had all the things required to succeed at the academy. He learned ninjutsu fairly quickly. Once he overcame his own self-limiting wall and found his way into his deeper potential, he discovered that he was actually quite skilled. He even got added to a team of his own led by Kakashi Hatake. Everything was going well. Their missions went off without a hitch, and things were looking up, and it felt that soon they might be able to make Chunin. I'm sure all of you can sense the massive but that's coming along. Indeed, there is something in their world that's becoming concerning. It seems like a rather extreme mission for a bunch of genin, but considering it's only supposed to be scouting, they decide it's okay to send Team 7. Bringing the group into his office, Minato begins to explain to them what they're going to be dealing with. Over the past month, we've been secretly keeping track of a situation. Every week, communication with one of our settlements beyond the village walls falls silent. Once was strange, twice was a coincidence, 3 times is deliberate. And as we begin preparing to send envoys, just today, communication with a 4th settlement has gone silent. We have no idea what's happening, but whatever it is, it's being drawn in our direction. Each of these settlements are growing progressively closer and closer to the village. The silence is only moving in one direction, and it's in the direction of Konoha. I want to know what's happening, so your team's gonna go to the nearest silent settlement and gather as much information as possible, and then report back to us. We want to know what happened here, why there's no calls from them, and why no one sent an envoy to us. Nothing. If there's danger in the settlements, you are not to engage in any way, but to retreat to safety if possible. Whatever conclusions you reach, be sure to report it back here as soon as possible. Do you understand? The entire team nodded in agreement. Minato smiled. Good. You're free to leave for the mission whenever you're ready. Dismissed. The 4 shinobi left the office to prepare to go. During their walk, they began to question among themselves what could possibly be going on. What do you think happened to make all the settlements stop transmitting? Sakura asked. I don't know. It could be an enemy nation sabotaging us, Sasuke said. After all, if they're silencing the settlements that serve as watch posts, then the only answer is they're trying to get closer to us without anyone noticing. That's possible, Naruto said. But I don't know, something seems off about it. Like Dad's already mobilizing shinobi forces in response to this. Silence is still a warning, Naruto said. Yeah, but even if the purpose isn't to stop Konoha from knowing that an attack is coming, it still conceals their true numbers, placement, and village of origin, which limits how we can counter. Yeah, but I just don't believe it. Well, if you're so smart, why don't you tell us what's going on, Sasuke said. Naruto thought for a moment. Well, I think it's possible that what's happening isn't caused by anyone. What if it's some new disease? An epidemic that's spreading, and the reason it's spreading in a new direction is because some of the survivors are seeking refuge in other settlements, not yet aware that they're carriers. That's disturbing to think about, Sakura said. I don't want to think about that, because if it's true when we walk in, we could actually end up infected, which could kill us and put the entire village at risk. Kakashi then spoke up, getting their attention. It's a dangerous path to walk, Kakashi said. You're speculating what could have happened, but have no proof or knowledge of what's transpired. You're doing nothing but making yourself paranoid, he said. For all we know, the only thing happening is that we've got lines and it's breaking the field of communication. We could get there and that's all it is. Them experiencing a technical glitch. I think I like that idea better, Sakura said. Let's hope it's that. They kept journeying further and further until eventually they reached the location where they were sent. The nearest settlement only recently lost communication with Konoha. Entering the vicinity of the settlement, they found themselves enveloped in a dense fog of unknown origin. There had been no rain, nor any intense meteorological events that would have caused this fog. It just existed, like some harbinger of doom. And whether it was because of the fog, some energy in the air, or the effects of their guessing playing tricks on their mind, the group began to feel severe paranoia, as though they were walking into the domain of some demon. Even Kakashi felt it, but he tried to push it from his mind and think logically. Still, as they entered the settlement, Kakashi spoke to his team. Visibility is low, and we don't know what could be in here. Stay low. I'm going to escort you to the nearest building. You'll remain there until such a time as I come to get you, okay? The team agreed. Moving stealthily, they found a building to hide in. Entering, they found it empty, yet filled with trinkets and other objects. Kakashi exited the building to continue his investigation. Naruto and the others began investigating the house. Careful what you touch, Sakura said, taking Naruto's epidemic proposition to heart. Naruto was beginning to think that the epidemic thing wasn't correct. After all, if people had gotten sick, then there'd be some sort of hint of that. There'd be bodies or something. But even if it were that, what are the chances that everyone would die within one day without letting anyone know what was going on? Honestly, the lack of bodies made Naruto question if it were an attack. No blood, no struggle, nothing. Everything just gone. The settlement enveloped by a mist. Nothing but the shadows cast by their own minds serving as any indication of what might have happened. As they waited, they heard a strange sound, like scratching. What could it be? Unbeknownst to them, Kakashi was coming to the same conclusion. Even with the aid of his Sharingan, he could detect nothing. The settlement was simply dead. Getting to the communications building, Kakashi even found the headphones laying near the microphone. The the codebook open to a specific page as though they had only just finished a communication with another settlement or the village itself. Looking through the logs, he found that the last communication was with Konoha only 2 days earlier, so they had a concrete time that the settlement was attacked, or at least a more narrow view. But the cause behind this disappearance was still a mystery. Kakashi, tired of making his way through the creepy fog, decided instead to simply go back and grab his team. Getting back to the building where he left them, he was shocked to find that the building was empty. Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura, where are you? Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura were sitting inside of the building and heard a strange scratching noise. In the distance, they thought they heard Kakashi's voice calling them, and despite calling back, they received no response. Looking around the house, they saw no Kakashi, but the door to the house was open as if he had been there. "This is freaky," Sakura said as she began to sort of hide behind Sasuke. Moving past the main room, the direction they heard Kakashi's voice coming from changed, back toward the direction they had come from. It was as if Kakashi's voice was distant, yet very close to them. There wasn't an explanation to this. As they exited the building, they saw something that chilled them to the core. Piles upon piles of bones, skeletons, skulls. What was this? As Kakashi exited the building, he did not find his team. He saw nothing suspicious at all, only this dense fog. "If I don't find them, there's going to be hell to pay," Kakashi said. Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura began to investigate the corpses. "These weren't here when we arrived, and there was nobody around to move them. How did they get here?" Sasuke said. Naruto had no clue, but he knew for certain that whatever was happening was frightening. He needed to get his team out. He wanted to find Kakashi, but no matter how much they called for him, they got no response. Naruto called out as loud as he could, "Kakashi, if you can hear us, we're leaving the settlement. Meet us down the eastern road." Turning around, they began to go, but that's when they were stopped. There was something standing in the fog. It was large, serpentine, yet invisible. The only thing referencing its shape at all was a lack of fog. If the fog hadn't been around them, there wouldn't have been any clue that it was there at all. But because of the fog, or more like the lack thereof, the creature's shape could be detected. As Kakashi stood there, he looked out and saw the massive shape in the fog, but nobody around. "The hell?" he questioned as he drew closer. His Sharingan, normally able to detect nearly anything in great detail, scanned this shape and found nothing. There was nothing indicating a reason why the fog did not collect here. Was this some strange atmospheric phenomenon? Something that his mind just started attempting to make shapes out of to make sense of it? Sticking out his hand, he attempted to touch it. When he did, his fingers pressed against something hard. Kakashi pulled his hand back. There was nothing there, yet he touched something. He touched something that did not exist, and upon doing so, he felt as though he'd been forcefully moved, though his placement had not changed at all. This left him feeling dizzy. Turning around, he saw something new. More shadows in the fog appearing, each in the rough shape of the average human. There were at least 50, and they were approaching him. He pulled a kunai and began to prepare to fight. These things, if they were anything like the creature he just touched, were not technically there, yet still capable of being touched. And if he could touch them, maybe he could kill them. Upon touching the creature himself, Naruto found himself feeling dizzy, and when he turned to look back, the bones and other members of his team were gone. What? Sakura and Sasuke looked back, and as they did, they saw wraiths, spiritual beings like that of zombies, as though the bones had come back to life, wandering closer. Looking over, they saw these wraiths also fighting another, but the thing they were fighting was a fog silhouette like the creature itself. Drawing closer, they began to fight alongside it. Kakashi, as he fought, noticed two little silhouettes draw closer to him, standing back to back. He couldn't make out their appearances, but by looking at their shape, stances, and weapons, he knew they were shinobi. He began to wonder if they were Sasuke and Sakura, but then where was Naruto? Kakashi's mind began to put the pieces together. He began to wonder, is this some form of space-time ninjutsu? They were in the same spatial and temporal location, but on some other unseen dimensional axis. Their coordinates had changed, being warped to some number that might not even exist. Kakashi knew that there was only one way to deal with this, and that was to tap into his location with the dimensional sense that came with his Kamui to help him figure out where he was, and attempt to redirect their location back to their own dimensions. Naruto, now alone, stood there in the center of the settlement, but slowly, the creature that had appeared in the fog was nowhere to be seen. As he wandered about, suddenly he heard the sound of the dirt moving. He saw a trail on the ground forming. He jumped back and got into position. I don't know what you are, but show yourself, he said as he threw a kunai at the creature, only for there to be no collision. Something really bad was happening here, and it was malicious, malevolent, and worst of all, it did not feel natural. What the hell are you? He asked it. I am everyone. I am no one. I'm the result of your actions. I'm the cause of your actions. I am that which exists in the back of your own mind, it said, seemingly drawing further away. That is, until suddenly its voice appeared on the other side of Naruto. Every bad thought you have that sends a shiver down your spine is me. Naruto jumped away. Raising his kunai, he pointed it at the shadow that appeared. I am that as well. The reason your weapon exists is because I exist. Stop talking, stupid. Show your dumb face so we can get this over with. Suddenly, the shadow began to take an actual form, like that of a leech wearing a no mask. I cannot show you my face, for I have none. Naruto was shocked by what he was looking at. What are you? I am the Zero Tails, or so the people of your world call me. I'm a conglomeration of every piece of negative energy that exists in this world. I exist because such negativity exists. I feed off of it. On every battlefield where every man has slaughtered others, I have been present. And I'll be present on all battlefields, till all are none, or until none are one. And until one is me. Are you the one who did this? Naruto asked. Or did someone else? Make no mistake, I can affect the physical plane as much as I can warp it. Human emotions are so strange. They possess no mass, yet the force of them may knock you on your back end. They, for all intents and purposes, do not exist at all, and yet they manifest. I am like this as well. If you ask me if I killed these people, I might say yes, but I also may say no. These people killed each other. I merely assisted in it, and was there to devour their flesh and negativity when they were finished. And now, your friends are being attacked by that very same negativity, and will soon become me as well. No, Naruto shouted, ready to end this creature now. You too will become one with me, it said. There is something special about you, something that's been drawing me closer and closer to your little village. Something powerfully negative, and you were so kind to bring it to me. Was it selflessness, ready to sacrifice to save your village? Or was this just fortune? All that matters is that you're here, and ready to become one. Tentacles shot from the creature's body at Naruto, smashing the ground as he jumped back. Suddenly, more shot from the ground behind him to grab him, causing him to jump to the side. In doing so, he threw kunai laced with paper bombs at the arms. The arms retreated, but the Zero Tails kept up its relentless attack. It seemed to have no limit to how many arms it could spawn, and those arms were now closing in. Naruto could only dodge for so long before he was grabbed. Once he was grabbed, he was brought closer to the creature's mask. Such delicious darkness exists inside of you. I think I'll take it for myself. The flesh of the creature behind the mask began to open as it prepared to swallow Naruto. Letting out a scream, Naruto panicked. But then, something changed. The inflow and outflow of negative energy began to awaken something. And a moment later, Naruto was no longer Naruto. Instead, he was replaced by the appearance of a person with black markings across his skin, over his face and body. The creature's tentacles were severed as the being jumped away. Standing there, his hair golden like Naruto's, his facial structure seemed to change a bit. The man took a deep breath in and let it out before beginning to laugh. After so long, to finally be alive again. It feels so nice. His clawed hands gripped at the jacket he wore and tore it apart. Exposing every tattoo, the man took in the breeze. Looking down to understand his new vessel, he commented that he was shorter than he remembered, but something else existed here that he did not remember. Looking at his stomach, he noticed a swirling mark there. That's not one of mine, he said as he looked at it. Blonde hair and tattoos? Have I reincarnated into the vessel of some notorious criminal? Laughing, he spoke. Perfect. I already have a head start on my new legacy. It was then that he recognized the creature. Oh, you are unique. I've not seen a curse like you before, he said. Looking at the creature, he began to walk around it. Unique shape, not unexpected, but your cursed energy feels so strange, foreign to me. He contemplated these things for a moment before pushing them from his mind. It doesn't matter. You will serve as a sacrifice to my glorious return. The creature began to rush at Sukuna. A smirk on his face, he welcomed it before suddenly the creature came apart, severed into many cubed pieces, each undulating like an exposed organ. Lifting up a piece of the creature, Sukuna examined it. Interesting. Taking a bite, he felt it overflowing with sorrow, fear, and negativity, all the makings of a special grade curse. Kakashi, finally discovering the location they existed in, looked to the shades of Sakura and Sasuke and cast Kamui to teleport them back to their own dimension. As soon as he reached the original world, he saw Sasuke and Sakura looking on oddly. Kakashi turned around and saw Naruto kneeling there, playing with the remains of some creature. Had he killed it? And moreover, why was he topless and covered in strange tattoos? He didn't have those earlier. Kakashi watched as he lifted another cube and began to bite into it, a disgusting squishing sound being heard as some substance like blood, but ethereal, began to gush out of the pores. Sakura nearly puked. Kakashi, stepping forward, Sharingan still active, spoke. "What are you doing there, Naruto?" Naruto's face turned back to look at Kakashi curiously, an extra set of eyes set below his own. Wiping his face, Sukuna began to stand. "What's with that vest? And that headband?" he questioned. "Are you what Jujutsu Sorcerers look like these days?" he chuckled, his voice quite different from Naruto's. Kakashi was confused. "Sorcerer? What are you?" Sukuna raised his hand to his chin as the gears in his head began turning. "Not a Jujutsu Sorcerer." Looking around, he shrugged it off. "Well, I see you've brought 2 little lambs with you. I'm sure their slaughter will at least bring me a hint of joy." Kakashi stepped forward, his hand telling Sasuke and Sakura to step back. Sasuke took up a defensive position with Sakura behind him. Kakashi stepped forward, Sharingan blazing. He began to look Naruto over, trying to detect what might have caused this change. That's when he noticed one of the tattoos possessed an Uzumaki clan sealing formula, something he could identify as the 8 trigrams. Something was sealed into Naruto, or perhaps more like unsealed at this point. Sukuna jumped into the air, his pointed fingernails in the shape of a claw. Hitting the ground, he attempted to cut into Kakashi, only for Kakashi to dodge with his Sharingan's reaction time. Kicking Sukuna away, Kakashi formed shadow clones, and together, the 3 of him rushed in using Chidori. "So you are a Jujutsu Sorcerer!" "Just as I thought," Sukuna said. "But then why can I not sense you?" he questioned. As the first came in, Sukuna, with incredible skill and speed, dodged under the attack and kicked it into the other clone, causing them to shock each other. Kakashi came in with his Chidori to strike Sukuna, and the blow managed to land. Sukuna showed a little discomfort, but did not attempt to dodge or stop it. He took the attack for the sole purpose of trying to figure out what kind of energy Kakashi was using. Sukuna took Kakashi's hand and began to pry it away. "Tell me, what are you? What's this jujutsu you use? Why can't I sense your cursed energy?" Kakashi stood there silently for a moment. Looking to Sasuke and Sakura, Sukuna spoke. "What about you 2? They didn't respond. Sukuna let out a sigh. "You know what? I don't think it matters. If you're the only users, then it's not important. And if you're as weak as this, there's nothing you can offer to benefit me. So why don't I just send you on your way?" Raising his fingers, suddenly they found themselves in a new area, despite having not moved. "Domain expansion, malevolent shrine." Sukuna raised from what seemed like the depths a small shrine that was surrounded by bones, skulls, and other deceased creatures. He had drawn them into his guaranteed hit radius, and now there was no escape for them. He prepared to cleave them apart, but just as he prepared to activate it, something happened. Naruto forced control again. Sukuna began to wonder what was happening. A tightening in his stomach seemed to signify that this tattoo was a seal of some sort, and it was aiding in Naruto getting out of the subconscious and stuffing Sukuna back in. Damn it. Looks like the fun's over, for now. Naruto fell to his knees. Catching his breath, he spoke. "Kakashi-sensei, what happened?" Naruto and the rest of Team 7 returned to Konoha once again, where Minato began to debrief them. They told him about the extra-dimensional entity and everything that they learned. Each of their stories painted a picture, but Kakashi's was what changed the focus. "When we got out, we saw Naruto, but it wasn't Naruto. He had an 8 trigrams on his body. Whatever was inside came out. What is it?" Minato had to recount the story of the sealing of Sukuna to Kakashi. Kakashi let out a sigh. "So some other dimensional knockoff of me showed up to dump his issues on us? Got it. But the real question now is, what do we do about it?" Minato, sitting at his desk, looked out toward the village. "I don't know. But if it's as dangerous as you make it sound, we have to do something quickly." As Naruto lay in bed, he thought about what he felt. What Sakura and Sasuke had said to him. There was something sealed inside of him. And even now, he could hear his mother and father arguing about it in another room. As Naruto laid there, he attempted the things his mother had always taught him, attempting to meditate and enter his own mind. Upon doing so, he found a large, sealed gate. And beyond that gate, he saw a large shrine, surrounded by the large skeletal figures of some massive creature Naruto had never seen before. At the center of it all was someone who looked just like him, but covered in tattoos. "So, you're my new vessel, huh?" "Vessel? Who are you?" Naruto asked. "I'm Sukuna Ryomen, an ancient Jujutsu sorcerer, and the king of curses. I would say it's a pleasure to meet you, but it's not." And that's where I'm gonna call it for now. Frankly, this was a lot of fun, and my research into the series to help make this the best I could make it was very intriguing. Makes me wonder if I should finally get back around to watching Jujutsu Kaisen. Considering that season 3 starts in January, this could be a good time for me to get back into it. If I do and really end up enjoying it, I might be able to do more Jujutsu Kaisen what ifs. Would you enjoy if I did so? Hey, maybe I can do like episode reviews. Get a review from a fresh fan who has no bias. You can all experience the journey with me and get my thoughts in real time. Would you like me to do reviews of it to help get caught up? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to be notified of our latest videos as they drop. And check out these other videos from our channel. Until next time, peace out.